Hi everyone, I'm Andrea and this is your Career Academy tip of the week. So today we're going to talk about behavioral interviewing, what the definition is, and 2 different methods to help you answer those types of questions. So let's get started. So we're going to go over behavioral interviewing, what those types of questions are, and 2 methods for answering those questions. So behavioral interviewing are a certain type of question. So this type of interviewing is based on discovering how the interviewee acts in a specific employment-related situation. And the logic behind it is that how you behaved in the past will predict how you will behave in the future. So employers want to make sure that they're making a good choice when they hire someone. So they'll be asking you questions based on what type of things that you did in your past. And that's to help them know, would you be a good fit for a future position here? Do you have the skills, experience, and are you the type of person that we want to hire? So behavioral interview examples would be, tell me about a time when, give me an example of, and what would you do if? So some examples, tell me about a time when you oversaw a team. Tell me about a time when you reached a goal that you had for yourself. Give me an example of a time when you had a conflict. What would you do if you were given a last-minute task? So those are examples of behavioral interview questions. So there's 2 methods to answer this question. One is the STAR method and one is what is called the SARL method. Now STAR is easier to remember. If that's the one that you want to take, go ahead. But there's also the method of SARL, which is basically STAR just tweaked a bit. So STAR is 1, S, describe the situation, T, what was your task, A, what action did you take, and R, what was the result. And SARL is just a little bit different. S, describe the situation, action, what action did you take, R, what was the result, and L, what did you learn. Now, I prefer SARL. I think that it's a little more comprehensive and lets the employer know what you learned from it, which is really important. But if you can't remember SARL, STAR is just as good. So I'm going to give you an example of answering with the STAR method and then the SARL method. So the example for STAR is, tell me about a time when you led a team. So in my last role as lead designer, my team was short-staffed and facing a significant backlog of work. The account managers were setting unrealistic deadlines, which was causing stress for my team and affecting morale. As a team lead, it was my role not only to ensure my team met our deadlines, but also to communicate bandwidth to other departments and keep my team motivated. I set up a formal creative request process, including project timeline estimates, to set better expectations. I scheduled weekly meetings with account managers to discuss my team's bandwidth and share progress up. By providing more transparency into my team's processes and setting better expectations with the account managers, we were able to reprioritize the design team's to-do list and complete everything in our backlog. The following quarter, we shortened our average project timeline by 2 days. So that's an example of the STAR method of explaining the situation, the task, what was your action, and then what was the result. So here's an example for the SARL, answering, tell me about a time when you faced conflict. When I worked at a packaging plant in shipping and receiving, I had a coworker who was always late and didn't work quick enough. At first, I would make sarcastic remarks to let him know that he was not doing his job, but I realized that it wasn't doing any good. Then one day I pulled him aside and respectfully let him know that his tardiness and lack of speed was affecting the team. For a couple of weeks, he did arrive on time and worked with the team, but then he slid back into his old habits. I then decided that I needed to get the management involved and set up a time to meet with the floor supervisor to let them know what was going on. This process taught me to be more proactive in dealing with issues that arise at work. I now know that I can handle issues respectfully, giving the person a chance to change. I have also learned that supervisors are intended to assist with these types of problems, and I can go to them when necessary. So you can see there's a slight difference in how you answer the STAR method versus the SARL. The SARL ends with what you learned, where the STAR is really letting them know the result of the situation. They are both good examples of methods that you can use, and just identify which one is your preference and remember that for answering these types of questions. All right, everyone, I hope that was helpful. Again, if you need any assistance with mock interviewing or your resume, please let Yulia or I know, and I hope you have a good weekend.